Happy Information Wednesday, Shalise McQueen here. For my teaser video, I want to break down again some more COVID numbers and how it's impacted and kind of reshaped the entire life insurance industry. Obviously, we still are experiencing COVID and long-term impacts from COVID. In fact, 23 million Americans are said to have long-term impacts from either the vaccination, the infection, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding life insurance in the industry when it comes to mortality and what we can anticipate just from COVID alone, not even considering the everyday unexpected deaths that we experience from car accidents, other illnesses, and so on and so forth. So the industry definitely is paying attention and is trying to, of course, figure out how to get in front of the issue and appropriately determine what premiums should look like, face amounts, underwriting guidelines, and everything else that goes along with a life insurance policy. And so it's very important. So with that said, it's important that if you don't currently have any kind of life insurance benefit, that you definitely make the important moves to securing your future and your protection. Because it is said 1 out of 5 people do not have any form of life insurance in the United States of America. What that means is they don't either have a employee-sponsored plan or they also don't have their own insurance. As I've said time and time again, if you have an policy through your employer, that is great, but that should not be your only resource or form of life insurance. The reason being is you do not own that policy, and the second your employment ends, as does that policy. And if you plan to ride that way through retirement, at that point, it may be too expensive for you to get the life insurance that you may need to provide the protection for your family. But back to my point, 1 out of 5 people I know in this nation are not independently wealthy, which means that 1 out of 5 people are leaving a huge burden behind for their family when it comes to burial expenses, debt, income. As I was saying, income replacement is a huge consideration that people either don't fully consider or don't consider at all. And the reality is when we have a loss of income, it's not just an immediate impact, it's a long-term impact. So you want to take in consideration 5 to 7 years of income replacement when you're determining your face amount for your life insurance. And this is where I come in. I'm going to sit down with you, figure out what your needs are from immediate basis if you were to have a loss, and also for future, and make sure that your need also matches your budget. And so another thing people fail to consider when it comes to a life insurance policy is it has the potential, depending on what kind of policy you write, to subsidize your retirement and have kind of quote unquote an investment vehicle with it. In fact, I personally utilize 2 different policies for that purpose alone. A, to have my death benefit, and 2, to help subsidize my retirement. Because let's be honest, Social Security is definitely not going to be there. And if there is a minute portion of it left for me to capitalize on, maybe I'll have enough to buy groceries that month. But more than likely, it's not going to be a guarantee. And in life, we definitely need as much guarantees as possible, especially when we work so hard in our working years to try to save for the unforeseeable future. And this is, again, life insurance is a great product for you to help secure that future and provide the protection for you and your loved ones for now, tomorrow, and for years to come. Another thing to consider, like I mentioned earlier in my video, it is the month of giving, the season of giving. And we always, when we think of kids, we always give them obviously toys. And, when they're under 5, they probably don't appreciate the toy, like they would maybe older. And so maybe instead of buying them that cheap toy made from China, why don't you give them a policy that is affordable for you, that's going to build with their life and their future, that will be able to pay for their college one day, help them buy their first house, pay for their wedding, whatever their needs may be in the future, you contributing to that policy for them for the next, 10, 15, 20 years of their life is going to make the biggest gift and impact you ever could imagine. So that's something to consider as well. Juvenile policies for life insurance is so inexpensive. And like I said, the benefit far outweighs any expense that it accumulates over the years. So think about that too with this gift giving season. So to recap, today we talked about obviously just a need for life insurance and how if you don't have life insurance currently, it's important that you make the steps to get you the protection that you need before the industry is changed forever and quite frankly, not for the better. I'm going to leave you at this number before I go. So in 2020, 90 billion was paid out for life insurance proceeds. And in 2021, the number jumped to $103 billion. Again, 1 out of 5 do not have life insurance, which means 1 out of 5 is not going to receive the payouts. the benefits and is leaving their family behind with a burden and not a legacy. We do not want that. As always, I'm here to be a resource for you. I have amazing products. I have the knowledge behind it. I can definitely find an opportunity for you to get the peace of mind, the protection, and the coverage you need at a price that fits your budget. So make sure you make the move and give me a call. You can give me a call at 602-525-56, or you can check us out at gotprotectionaz.com. Stay tuned next week for a special Christmas video. Those of you who've been following me for a while know that I'm quirky this time of year, so stay tuned for that. But remember to ask yourself, are you protected? We'll see you next week.